What is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? Have I got the tale for you? My dad and his siblings were close friends with another family of 5 boys. These 5 went into business together and made an absolute fortune. They had 8 kids who all were shipped off to residential school when they were less than 10. One Christmas break, 7 of the kids decided to surprise the parents by driving overnight through mountain passes while it was snowing heavily. They were in an SUV that skidded off the road and went down into a deep valley, and all died. The surviving kid had a mental breakdown and is a shadow of his former self. Oh geez, that is horrible. I had to drive from Aspen to Denver during a snowstorm and accidentally found myself at the entrance of Independence Pass due to outdated GPS. It was closed, but I can only imagine the horror they felt. Just going down the mountain on a regular highway was terrifying. In the 80s, while in college, I got called for jury duty and was sitting by an acquaintance until they called for the potential jurors to move to the back and found out that he was the defendant. Oops. Dude had always been a good citizen until he acted on homosexual impulses from the local papers, became afraid he was exposed to HIV, and in his panic used a gun to rob a Pizza Hut to get money to pay potential medical bills if he got AIDS. He did not wear a mask, and until that happened, he had in fact worked at that particular Pizza Hut. The sad news is that at the time there was so much stigma and fear and nowhere to get help. The fire chief a few towns away, highly respected, grizzled veteran firefighter, offered to perform oral sex on a 17-year-old high school student. The student reported him. Career over. We had a similar thing happen to the EMS chief at my department. He retired with a full pension, loving wife, and moved to a beach house down the shore. Then he sent explicit photos to a minor and lost it all. A simple no thank you would have sufficed. You know that something is off when a grizzled veteran firefighter thinks some slender 17-year-old wants him to touch him. Young people do not generally find grizzled attractive. Boban Jankovic, who got frustrated at a foul in a basketball game, slammed his head into the pole, broke his neck, and never walked again. You can find the video online if you want to see it, but that was really fast. I clicked on this thread knowing I'd see this answer. I read about it years ago when the same question was asked, and it's haunted me since. Drunk driving with a car full of people. One person died when they crashed. Life for him instantly changed. Don't drink and drive, and if you do, don't have passengers. This should be higher up. That and answering that important call or text while driving. A friend of mine played college football and broke his leg. They gave him pain meds for it, and he never quit taking the pills. Started buying them off the street. Dropped out of college and lost about 120 pounds. I don't know where he is now. I won't speak details, but it's really sad how quickly bipolar disorder can mess up someone's life, going from great highs, even in a material sense, to deep, deep rock-bottom lows in the course of a year. Saw 2 guys fighting a bit outside a bar. Nothing serious, just grabbing and pushing. One guy walked away, and the other guy picked up a chair and threw it at him. He fell in the road, got hit by a car, and died. 2 lives gone in like 5 seconds. Opiates, 100%. I've seen it happen to many friends and acquaintances, but one in particular stands out. Started eating Percocets, then oxycodone, graduated to snorting oxycodone, moved to snorting heroin when oxycodone became too expensive, and finally was shooting heroin, all within the space of about 9 months. The kid went from typical teenage stoner to pawning his grandma's jewelry in less than a year. My husband's friend went down like that too. I'm not sure if he's clean, but I do know he just got out of prison for attempting to rob the bank he uses. His father died when he was locked up. He didn't know until 2 months later. I knew a girl who had dormant schizophrenia and didn't realize it until she dropped acid, and then never really went back to normal. I always thought that was the sort of thing Dare made up, but apparently it can really happen when you already have a mental illness, but it hasn't yet reached its onset. This happened to my uncle. My dad and uncle were twins, both joined the Merchant Navy together, both took LSD during a trip to Asia, and my uncle never snapped back again. My grandma had schizophrenia, so the chances are he already had it or would have developed it, but after that LSD, he never came back to normal. Yeah, I know a guy from school that sold some to a kid who freaked out and had a mental break, and wound up in the hospital. He got locked up for it. The last I heard, the kid had permanent issues because of it. But this was like 30 years ago. We see this a lot where I work, a locked psychiatric unit.
Otherwise, normal and functioning adults will go up to Oregon, do some drugs with their friends, and come back psychotic in a way that never wears off. It's scary stuff.
My late brother-in-law discovered opioids. It cost him his marriage, his house, and his life in about 2 years. Same thing happened to my cousin. Lost everything in a few short years.
Speeding. He passed away at 17, a week after getting his license. My mom's boyfriend, after he attacked me because I refused to let him read my texts with my girlfriend, after I was already living on my own, and I was just coming to pick up some stuff I'd left behind, he ended up breaking my nose and arm and gave me a concussion. Now he's going to prison for 15 years. He even tried to tell the police when they arrested him that he was justified because he felt I disrespected him.
You didn't say ex-boyfriend? She's still with him? I had a coworker who had come out of rehab from a meth addiction. He was a Stanford undergrad, high-level law school grad, successful lawyer, and over a period of a few months destroyed his life with meth. One day he didn't show up, and I never saw or heard about him again.
My late daughter, she was a surgeon. Evidently, she got hooked on oxycodone and gabapentin after a hip surgery and was hiding this fact. She accidentally overdosed and died. 40 years old, she was found in her bed. I hate opioids. A friend and coworker became addicted to World of Warcraft and gradually lost interest in anything else. She was the executive assistant to the CFO of a major broadcasting company, and she stopped showering and wore her pajamas under her work clothes on the days she managed to show up. She was fired, lost her apartment, became completely isolated, moved into her parents' basement, and gained almost 100 pounds. Luckily, she was able to turn her life around, but it took years. Years! A friend of mine started motorcycling when he was 19. He died when he was 21. Nobody else was involved in the accident. Young and a bit reckless, but he was a smart and funny guy. Still think of him more than 20 years later. A woman I know had an affair with her teenage daughter's boyfriend. She lost absolutely everything. Her husband, daughter, career, and freedom. All for some 15-year-old kid. Had a friend who decided to rob a store out of the blue, Baskin-Robbins. When he was caught, he tried to escape through the ceiling, and when the dog found him in a lab, he stabbed the dog and killed it. I think he got 25 years. It's been so long I can't remember the sentence. He'd be out by now, but it was like, what the heck, dude? He was a calm guy.
He deserved that sentence for killing the dog. Came out to the friend group as a white supremacist because it came up when he was explaining why he lost his job. Last time I saw him, he still doesn't have any friends and is unemployed, living with his white supremacist parents. He's in his mid-40s. His parents are retired. I have no idea what his plan is for when they pass, but they rent and have no asset. His parents must have a lot of savings if they are able to live and rent with no income. A friend from middle school. He hung out with drug dealers. He didn't sell drugs himself, but he was close to the traffic. One day he was shot and died. He was 15. A guy I've known for 30 years ended up molesting his young daughter. Doing time for that. What's weird is I look up his name on Google and nothing comes up, but you use DuckDuckGo and you can easily find him. Really weird that Google hides that stuff. Friend. Started partying a lot and missing work. He lost his job at Meta. We got to know, but he pretended he was still working. He cashed out his 401k to keep up with his lifestyle. He was sharing a house with his sister. She moved out, and he was struggling with rent. He got some guys to move in to pay rent, but he was pocketing the money. The guys eventually moved out. He now has some random girl who he's always fighting with. Even got arrested recently for domestic violence because they were fighting on the side of the road. We hardly see him anymore, and when we do, he's drunk. She married a registered sex offender who was banned from seeing his own kids and eventually got hers taken by CPS. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.